Okay, so we'll get right into verbal behavior. So, verbal behavior is how Skinner describes language and how we teach language through ABA. So, verbal behavior is focused with the function of language, so the why, the causes, and not the form. When we talk about form, that refers to formal properties of language that always involves the topography, so how the behavior looks. Formal descriptions include phonemes, morphemes, lexicon, syntax, grammar, and semantics. So, all of those areas are what we hear, how it looks. So the formal properties rather than the function, which is what verbal behavior focuses on. So the functional properties really focus on the ABCs of language, the antecedent, behavior, and consequence, the reasons why we communicate, um, and we'll break down each type of language into an operant. A misconception about Skinner is that he rejected formal classifications of language. That's not actually true. He didn't find fault with this. However, he really was concerned with the failure to account for the causes or the function of language. So that's why he focused on verbal behavior and those operants that we'll get into in this lecture. So, to define verbal behavior, Skinner stated that language is learned behavior that's acquired, extended, and maintained by the same types of environmental variables and principles that control non language behavior. So, through stimulus control, motivating operations, reinforcement, and extinction. So, basically, he states that language is just another type of behavior that has the three term contingencies associated to it, the A, the B, and the C's. And he broke up he broke up language into the ABCs across several different operants. So verbal behavior is any behavior that's reinforced through the mediation of another person's behavior. It involves social interaction between speakers and listeners, whereby speakers gain access to reinforcement and control their environment through the behavior of listeners. It's primarily concerned with the speaker. So Skinner does have a verbal operant for listener behavior skills. However, he really is concerned with the speaker, and he broke up speaker behavior into several different operants. We'll go over the elementary operants, but it becomes more and more complex as well. So verbal behavior is an ABA term, it's a technical term. However, in layman's term, it typically is synonymous with vocal behavior. So when we say a child is nonverbal, a lot of times people confuse that with nonvocal. With Skinner, verbal behavior again is just any behavior that's reinforced by another person's behavior. So a person could be engaging in verbal behavior using sign language, using gestures, hitting, kicking, any type of behavior that is reinforced by another person's behavior. So your speaker, quote unquote speaker, doesn't necessarily have to be through vocal language. It could be through any mode of communication.